So many of you have asked about these grain storage facility that we have here on the farm. I've never really talked about it in a video, and this year with our yields being decently more, we had a lot of corn silage and a lot of earlage that we're going to be utilizing this facility. My dad built this facility. We started back in 1980, 85, 83, the 83 or 85, and through up till in the late 90s, we kept adding more bins. These bins are not brand new, but they're come off auction sales from other farms, and then we would rent bin jacks, and me and my brothers, we would take them down and reassemble them here. We poured the cement slabs that you see under them. We did all that ourselves. So there's a total of 5 bins. We've done more than that because we put bins up for a couple neighbors too. So my dad was kind of in the bin business for a little while there. So the smallest bins hold 7,000 bushel, and the biggest bins hold like 11,000 bushel. And so we do have a dryer here too. This dryer is the second one that we've put in. The first one we had was a batch dryer, but we had to manually load it and unload it. Whereas this one is an automatic batch dryer. We basically set the settings on it, and it automatically goes through and dries the batch, unloads it, reloads it, does all the work for it. So some dryers are continuous flow. We talked about going to that, but it was quite a bit more money, and for what we do, the amount of bushels at the time, that we thought this would work well for us.
Can you set this to the moisture that you want the corn to be dried at, or beans, or whatever you're drying?
Yeah, this it's kind of technical as to how it works, but yeah, we can set it to, we like it to dry down to about 13.5, so that way it stores well in the bins. And right now the corn's coming in at 21 to 23, and so that's what we're gonna kind of show today, is us using it a little bit. We're getting some corn in from a neighbor, and we'll show unloading it.
Yeah, so we're getting some of our own we will be combining, but we're also buying from a neighbor, and they're already harvesting. We haven't harvested ours yet, but the neighbor is.
So yeah, we haven't showed these in use because basically it's some my brothers that have been using it over the years, and we put all our own corn up as either wet or, so I've never really had a use for them. It's probably been 7 or 8 years that
we put up
dry corn where we've needed to use this facility. But my brothers keep it going and keep things rolling with it, because I know they store beans in one bin, and last year they stored beans here too, and some corn, and so yeah, that's this operation here. So before we turn the leg on the grain, they call it a grain leg. Some people call it a bucket elevator. And then there's an auger that comes out of the pit here where we dump the corn. And that's under the wagon. We'll show you that here in a minute. But the wet bin, we call it a wet bin. You look up there, that holds, I believe it holds like 1,600 bushel or something like that. Not quite 2 semi-loads can go in it. That's if my memory serves me correctly. And so we're gonna come over here. This is where all the power supply is. And we'll turn the leg on. You can probably hear it come to life. And then the pit auger is what we call it. That's your auger. this corn here is wet. Like I said, it's like 23% moisture, so it's going to get put in that bin right there. That bin is right above the dryer, and it's a gravity flow bin right into the dryer.
So when the dryer is done with what's in it, it gets emptied and goes into one of these bins?
Yeah, right now it's there's 5 bins here, and they're putting it in bin 2.
Bin number 2, and then that will put down another dryer full.
Yeah.
Once that batch is done.
Yeah, that's why we call it a continuous batch.
This is the dryer, and this is full of corn.
Well, if you can hear me, right there, that's a consigner. That's the lever that turns the cone up top to determine what bin it goes into. Hey, look at all the bees wings.
So these wagons we use when we harvest rye, and we usually store our rye in these wagons until we plant it for the cover crop. And well, we've got all our rye planted, and we was able to sell some, and so we're using the wagons to haul corn. So the neighbors are using these wagons and just filling them and bringing them here as they get them full. Here's our babies. I think I'm going to take you all for a little walk, and we'll show you what the guys have been working on this fall. They've got some different projects that they've been working on, and I haven't been taking video of it, so I think I'll do that. But these are the babies. This is the automatic feeder barn where they can drink as much milk, well, that they're allotted per day on their own, and they just go right in where this white area is, and reads their little RFID tag, and it will let them know if they can have milk or not. And right now, this one here is a new one. So these 3 here are all new, and they haven't figured out exactly where to go to get their milk. So we have to show them a few more times probably, and then they'll get the hang of it. These girls are getting their winter coat on.
So we've done some remodeling in this barn. This is our barn where the cattle come from after they come out of the automatic calf feeder. We raise them in there for probably, 12 weeks, 14 weeks roughly. Then they come here, and either one of these pens, one of them is actually, this one's probably the smaller pen than that one. So we start them in this pen, and they go to that one, then they go to the other side. But we've been working. This summer we put in another feed bunk, and that way they got 2 feed bunks, so that way we can increase our number per pen. Because before, 7, 8, 9 was a decent number, where now I'm hoping to go to 12 or 14 per pen. That way there's a lot of feed bunk room for them. And we haven't got curtains up yet. We still got to do that there, but that's on the next to-do list. But yeah, so they get a mixture of dry hay and dry corn with some protein in it and mineral, and that's their diet. So
Till they get a little older.
until you get older, yep. All right, we're in the other part of our heifer barn, and this here age group is probably from maybe 8 months to a year old, go in this group. And this originally, when we built it a few 4, 5, 6 years ago, was all pen packed. We bedded with sawdust, but 2 years ago, sawdust got really hard to get during the winter months, and I know many of you said that we should maybe buy it during the summer, but there again, you got to have a place to store it and everything else. So we have had some leftover free stalls from other projects. There's a local dairy that quit. I bought all his free stalls. We used them for the cows, and we have like about 50 left over. So we decided to put free stalls in this age group of heifers, so that way we can save on sawdust, where now we just bed with sand. And that's why you're going to see that this stall is a little different loop stall than what that one is. So basically it's kind of a hodgepodge of what we had left over from doing the cow barns. And yeah, I don't know what sawdust will be like this winter, but now we're basically down to sawdust is, I don't know, we haven't got a load in a long time now. And so we're going to be bedding with sand, and sand is very much available in this area. I don't know where you guys watch at, if sand or sawdust, how availability is, but basically during the winter we were going through a semi-load of sawdust every 3 to 4 weeks, where now I'm basically going to bed all the small calves with straw, and then all these free stalls here will get bedded with sand. So I'm hoping to basically do away with the need of having to have sawdust as a source of bedding material. So that should be, I'm hoping it'll be a huge savings for finances for us too, because yeah, sawdust last winter went up quite a bit to even find, if you could even find it. So
So this is our breeding age heifers. We breed only by bull, and so there's 2 bulls in here, I think. 1, 2, yeah, they're both right there. Some of them have horns. The bull has horns. Both bulls have horns, it looks like. And then some of the heifers have horns just because I didn't get them dehorned when they were calves. These heifers will stay here until they are about 7 months pregnant, and then we move them so we can just keep a closer eye on them. So this group has access to pasture, and then the yearlings, the ones that the last group that we saw, they have pasture out here. They can go out there as well. The littler ones, we don't have room for them to be out on pasture, and they just tend to be a little bit more curious and want to get out. So we choose to leave them inside until they get a little bigger.